Steam, the place you find all kinds of magical things. Amazing games, tools you didn't know you wanted, and of course, this absolute masterpiece. But what about the lowest rated rhythm games on this entire platform? Hell fucking yeah. Finding the worst rhythm games was easy. Just head to the Steam search, sorted by user reviews, and insert the rhythm game tag. Then scroll to the absolute bottom to find the worst rated ones. And then find out that the lowest user rated rhythm game isn't even tagged rhythm on the store page itself. Okay, let's just stick to the games that are actually tagged rhythm. And ignore the Beat Saber packs here, because it looks like Beat Saber had a rough time with their DLC packs 2 to 3 years back. So this is a first-person shooter 2v2 multiplayer rhythm game. It's also free, which is great, because in total for this video I've spent over $30 and my wallet hurts. I could have used that money to pay for half of the Steam version of Project Diva. Okay, so first off, I am a person of taste. I enjoy light theme, because light theme has a lot of contrast. White on black pops a lot. But even with this in mind,
why is everything so goddamn bright?
the UI of this game is borderline unreadable. Actually, never mind. I don't even understand what anything on this screen means. The game never tells you. The menus seem to enjoy randomly exiting itself the moment you move your mouse anywhere, and they ask you to set a name that they set for you which you can't change. I assume the whole point of this game is to multiplayer with people and fight them in a game that's extremely motion heavy. But the reality is, moving around this game feels like trying to run in a pool. You destroy existing cubes in the map to be able to spawn them, but spawning cubes seems pretty pointless if there are any walls in the level at all because you could just wall climb and wall jump. Not to mention that the methods for spawning them are pretty janky and you can't decide how they're placed very well. And as for the rhythm part of the game, it's Yep, holding down the trigger makes the bullet go faster and play music. And well, right, about the whole draw of the game. Playing against people. Well, never mind. Up next was Project Pulse, a co-op rhythm action game, and it's also free like the previous game.
Thank God!
When you start up the game, you're immediately greeted by an opening cutscene like those fictional TV reels of an in-game universe. TLDR, the world is swamped by these sound-hungry monsters, and it's now your job to pick between these 4 heroes to save the day. Check your phone messages to find out where the citizens are in trouble and save them. The gameplay is simple. Click to attack. And in the game, there's a metronome that is constantly playing, which you could actually turn off. But point of it is that if you click to the beat of the metronome, your attacks are stronger. And you could also hold down right click to charge out an attack. And if you release that attack on the beat, you deal even more damage. Navigating the menus was also pretty jank in this game. Like, pressing space is to dash, but during the tutorial, pressing space goes back a page. Then on the actual menu, you navigate with the WASD keys, but press enter with your mouse's right click. It also freaks out sometimes when you open and close it. There doesn't seem to be any goal in the game whatsoever except going to the next person in trouble, fighting a bunch of monsters around them, and then rinse and repeat. Not sure why I keep saying I have 2 enemies left to fight, when there's literally nothing around, and when I tried killing other monsters around it didn't add to the count. At one point, all inputs straight up froze and I was just stuck standing under a lamp for a minute. There's way too many monsters and I only make money by either going through the garbage or saving people, so this is actually a pretty difficult game. Like, I know there's those healing stations scattered around the map, but even then there's like no point using any of them because they cost so much. And there's like 0 drawback to dying. You just respawn at the spawn area and you take this long walk back to the last person you were halfway saving. But still, I won't be too harsh on this one because it does look like a student project and they probably whipped up something as a proof of concept combining all the things they learned in school. So, on to the next one. It's supposed to be stage fright, but I've already played that one. This thing costed me $11 and I have no idea how to describe this game. But it came out in 2012 and the UI really reminds me of those times. I think I've reached the point of the video where I can say that games shoving a please press button to a metronome mechanic is actually really not fun. Though of course this is coming from a rhythm gamer who likes the typical rhythm game experience. But other than that, from a casual gamer's perspective, the moment someone implements metronome mechanics, it's a bit annoying because it pretty much puts the rest of the game on the back burner since hitting to a steady beat is not very hard and it just slows down the rest of the game. Of course, there are games that makes hitting to the beat mechanic work because they integrate it heavily into the gameplay, like Krypton Necrodancer or Beats per Minute, because it's the kind of game that you have to strategize and take time based on how and when you move. There's a sense of urgency in a way. But then on the other hand, you have games like this. It's a fighting rhythm game? I mean, I guess if you love QTEs and metronome simulators, this is the game for you. Pick a character and have a dance-off against an opponent. The gameplay is basically pressing a bunch of key combinations to execute an attack or defend or other fighting game combos. And yeah, That's basically it. You can play in a campaign, with the goal being that you beat all of your opponents for money, which you could use to buy new characters or items in the shop. It's not a particularly difficult game, but the rhythm aspect is seriously what's holding this game back. Like, I tried hitting twice to the beat of the song and they don't accept those inputs. For a game where how quickly and accurately your inputs matter, this is not it. At least the songs are alright, I guess. Where do I start? Well, I can start with, I paid $5 for this. The story in the game is simple, but it still doesn't make much sense.
Long ago, there was a kingdom, a castle kingdom, where 4 knights resided as the protectors of the kingdom. It was a cool summer day, when suddenly, the cool summer wind was actually fired because the kingdom was burning. King Bertin attacked the kingdom for no obvious reason, and took the princess. Now the knights had to stop being lazy. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Blue! United as one. They have to save the day with the power of music? Oh, these guys are screwed. Wait, why were you guys fighting in space? That doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Anyways, with King Bertin defeated, the Rhythm Knights have saved the day. Congrats on completing the game, yada yada yada. Here's to a sequel. Haha, like that's gonna happen.
Nothing is on the beat. The offset is completely wrong. There's no way to change it. And there's also no way to change your keybinds or scroll speed either. Like, sure, they give you options on what keybinds you could use, but that doesn't even work. And on top of all that, inputs randomly drop. This sure reminds me of another game where I said about the exact same thing and gave it a 5.5 out of 10. But some people still got mad at me in the comments. I mean, to be fair to the other game, the charts there weren't horrible, they weren't terrible. But on the other hand, this game has legitimately one of the worst charts I've ever seen, like ever. One part of me thinks this is AI generated, but the other part of me thinks there's no way an AI could come out with something so bad in the year 2022. Also, the right arrow isn't aligned with the hit receptor. And for whatever reason, the art style is extremely jarring. Like, the main knight character art is very clean, but all the enemies in the backgrounds look horrible. The songs are kinda and... oh my god. Oh my god. The game, it doesn't have whole notes. There's no whole notes in the game. What the fuck is... This is the first game here that looks good, and I unironically enjoyed playing it. But let's be real, it's not too difficult to entertain me, especially considering the games I just talked about. VELUCITY consists of mostly Easy 2AC, O2 Jam, and other original songs. There's around 46 songs that you can play from the get-go, though there are other songs that can be bought separately. If you can even buy them, that is. It's a 6-key game, I think? It's 7-key, but the spacebar isn't used all too often for the 7th orange note in the middle. You can change how the notes look, you can change the scroll speed, you can change the hit sounds, and there's a flat track option. Though I'm not sure why you can't constantly check your accuracy. You gotta wait for it to fade from the score. Really weird design decision here. There aren't any early late indicators, so figuring out my offset was something I gave up on pretty quickly. And also the offset caps at 30 milliseconds on either ends, so that's not really good either, since I'm pretty sure my offset is probably at 50 milliseconds. Charting wise, it's definitely much better than every other game here, but it's generally a mixed bag. Some stuff play pretty nicely. Other stuff is... huh. Wow, you're being so nitpicky, Tokaku. Don't you remember the last game we just talked about? Yes, but this game is $15. Calculating the song to cost ratio is actually pretty good, but this is also an early access game that hasn't gotten an update in God knows how long. It honestly looks like a blatant abuse of early access. They just put out something half finished and made it cost money, and then left it as that. I can see why the reviews on this are mixed. This one cost me $5. And well, first off, I'm not a really good singer, so... Second of all, I don't recognize a single song here. And they also don't look like they're from 2019. And the last thing is that I noticed that you can't adjust the mic sensitivity in-game itself. The default sensitivity is actually being really close to the mic while you're singing. Wait, hello?
Hi.
It's kidding me tonight cause we're going to be lonely. I'm pretty used to talking with the mic really close to my face in general, so it's not something I did notice at first. But I did notice that if I wasn't raising my voice at the mic, the game doesn't detect it. It was a fun experience for me overall, but I think the reason why people don't like this game on Steam is because the original price of this is $30 for not that many songs that aren't even from 2019. I've never tried the other Let's Sing games, so I can't really comment on what I think about this. This one is a really interesting game. Kind of like one of those submarine radars. This is also the first game that actually starts with a timing collaboration. But my offset is still too early, and for some reason, I can't manually adjust the offset in the settings, so... Why do they ask you to use your mouse to collaborate the offset when this is a keyboard game? Gameplay is simple. When you see the line go over a circle, you press J to tap it. When there are two circles in a row, you press J and then I to press it. Yep, J and I. Weird keybinds. But I guess you can change them, so okay. You know how on my channel I've been clickbaiting one-key games that aren't actually one-key games? Because in those games, you can actually use your entire keyboard to play the game. Yeah, this on the other hand is actually a one key and one key only game. You can't alternate between fingers between keys, nothing, just this one key, J. The using two keys for two note hits is a nice mechanic, but it's also a mechanic that bites you in the ass when you fuck up. Because when you fuck up in this game, they shift that same note to the next bar that you have to hit again. But if there's already two notes on the screen right at that same point, how the heck will you be able to hit the third note? I can see the potential in this, but it just doesn't play very well. And it also looks like the game has been abandoned since you can't make an account anymore. And also, I'm not gonna lie, this game is kind of creepy. It's 2 AM. I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm so sorry. And that's it for all the lowest rated rhythm games I've played so far. There's actually even more of them, but I think that's enough for today. See you guys next time.